this occasion, all 5 canoes came for this portage and camping spot at the same time. This led to a certain amount of confusion. Usually we were far enough apart to stay out of each other's way. Haversacks are emptied out for the evening meal. Everybody had a job to do when we hit camp. We had wood gatherers, fire makers, boys getting to be real woodsmen. Some boys gathered driftwood to start the cook fire. The fire does 2 jobs, cooks the food and smokes out the mosquitoes. We built our fires near the canoes where we slept. Good on a chilly night. But the last man up always put out the fire for safety. Up at 5:30 in the morning, but not too early for the deer. By 6:30, breakfast was over and we were loading the canoes for an early start. We spent a whole day shooting rapids, running 10 sets in 20 miles. The in our canoe directed our steering in the first rapids. We negotiated 2 sharp bends, fully loaded, paddling twice as fast as we usually did, to try and fight our way out in this fast water rather than unload the canoe. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. Both canoes paddled hard, doing 80 strokes a minute. We forced our way into the rapids, and we didn't make it. The canoes swung around in the fast water, nearly overturning. With the bowman doing a side stroke to bring the bow around in the fast water, we kept upright, going sideways out of the rapids. We drove back out of the rapids, pulled to land to portage our canoes. We finally approached the height of land. From here, the waters flow to the Arctic instead of the Atlantic. Here, we carried out a ceremony traditional with the Voyageurs. Our canoe captains sprayed men with water flowing to the Arctic. At the same time, the men promised never to let another man pass this point without a similar ceremony. And they also promised never to kiss a Voyageur's wife without permission. Following this ritual, we had a tot of high wine and set off again. High wine is concentrated alcohol, which the Voyageurs carried for trading purposes, but it also made portages seem easier somehow. It had been raining, but within a short time the sun came out again and a high wind gave us a chance to try out our sail. Sailing canoes was always traditional. The Voyageur would sooner sit the sail than paddle. With this wind, our canoe flashed down the lake doing about 15 knots. It takes strength and skill to move these huge canoes through the water at a steady 7 to 8 miles per hour. And by this time our paddlers were experts. fact, the competition was fierce between the different crews to see who was first to hit the next beach. We finally made it to Curtain Falls, a very fast stretch of water. In no way can you run Curtain Falls. And once again, we portaged around this wild stretch of water. The force of the water shoots spray high into the air. The men took the canoes and gear down the portage trail alongside the rapids. Sometimes we carried the canoe right side up, especially when the portage was rough. We launched the canoes below the falls, and the bowman started doing a side stroke to line up the canoe with the current. It's up to the bowman to steer the course around eddies and whirlpools. These are dangerous spots. You must always be on the alert. The steersman always watches the bowman's action to determine which way he's going to swing the canoe. It was not often that the day was clear enough for us to see our reflection in the water, but today was such an occasion. We often paddled at night in order to keep up to our schedule. Along the portage trails, the men often stopped to pick blueberries, as we had to live off the land and to conserve the food we carried. The variety of edible plants and fruits that nature provides is almost limitless if you know what to look for. More rapids came up between and Saganaga Lake.